Okay, there you go, Ambassador. And the Chinese cannot play. We didn't know, we didn't understand. I mean, I hope that that's not what you were saying, because that's pretty disingenuous of them.
No, not at all. What I'm saying is that it's obvious that the things the Trump administration is asking the Chinese to do in this negotiation are all things that would ultimately benefit the Chinese economy. What I think they misunderstood was the determination of the president not to accept just superficial promises. They had been talking about writing these changes into Chinese law, and the Chinese apparently have walked back from that. And you just can't change the terms in the middle of a negotiation like that without making everybody suspicious about what's actually going on. There's a long history of China not living up to its agreements here. And I think we're right to make sure that there is some sort of accountability built into anything that happens here.
Congressman, I just want to let our viewers know the S&P is down 73 points, down 73 points. Dow Jones Industrial is down 652, the NASDAQ down 276. You know, when you look at the Dow, you've got Caterpillar, you've got some of the heavy industry names here that do matter to your area in Michigan. Whether it's the auto industry or what we're talking about in farming, what are you hearing from your constituents about the tariffs? What are they saying?
Well, I think they're sort of two minds. I think most people do want us to take on China. And I think that's where my conclusion that the president was right to take them on.
Where's the tipping point? Where's the breaking point where they say, okay, no more?
I think we're hitting the wrong targets, and that's the problem. What's happening is the retaliatory tariffs are disproportionately hitting my growers, for example. These are folks who are really suffering. And I think the thing that maybe the president didn't fully contemplate is that for a lot of folks, it's not just a matter of sort of getting through this period and then when we get this issue resolved, everybody goes back to where they were. The growers I represent operate on really thin margins. They have debt that obviously is important for them to be able to manage. One season from failure puts them out of business. They're not back in business next year. So I guess what I would say is they do appreciate the fact that we're getting tough with China, but I think we have to be smart strategically about this, and I don't think the president has, in all fairness, has not demonstrated that he had a strategy going into this that he was willing to go all the way through. For example, criticizing the Fed. Some believe that that demonstrated weakness in our economy.
And the Chinese read that as, ooh, they're hurting. Let's pull back just a bit.
That could be.
Yeah, that's what the Wall Street Journal definitely reported. We do just want to say that markets are still up since tariffs were first announced, Ambassador. Barely, though. We're not really seeing those gains with the Dow now at 25,294. You know, 26,000. I don't know where it is right now, but we'll probably eventually regain that. We're not negative here, but the fact is that today the market believes that when both sides are piling in, it's sort of a shootout at the OK Corral. What happens next? What needs to happen next, Ambassador?
Yeah, the problem is the congressman talks about the problem for our growers of the Chinese tariffs, but nobody's talking much about the problem for the American consumer of our own tariffs, which are the equivalent of another probably $15 billion or so tax increase on the American people, just from this latest move. And that's going to start to hit people in the economy, too. That's why I say we really need to get going on negotiations again. We can't wait 6 weeks for this to be resolved at the summit in Osaka. We need some negotiations to happen between now and then, so something's ready for the two presidents to sign when they get to Osaka.
Well, we are hearing from a professor at UC Davis who is saying that 23% of consumer goods will be affected in America by these new quid pro quo. You know, I know you are, but what am I? Tariffs. Congressman Dan Kildee, great to have you. Thank you very much. And Ambassador Terry Miller, we'll see you next time. We do need to tell you right now that the markets are still deep in the red.